LinkedIn is not very popular in mainland China.
I've got 50 million users.
I mean, like,
I wouldn't mind 50
a
million
lot
users.
of my clients, like the senior executives, they do not have a LinkedIn profile. And if I look at, for example, the procurement manager or the contract manager, they have like less than 100 people. So I'll be like hesitant. Okay, should I send them an invite?
You'd be surprised, but we have clients in Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou, and Beijing who are targeting just not people in China but outside. We also have clients in Hong Kong and Singapore and America who are targeting Chinese companies. Although the people in America might not be doing that anymore. But that would be very, that is very much, they are still doing it in terms of reaching out, want to do business with people. It does, it's a fair point in that it tends to be multinationals, it tends to be international executives who are on LinkedIn for obvious reasons, same as Japan. The million people there are basically expats. Who know that they need to have a personal brand both inside and outside for community reasons and networking. But it's growing. Like I said, there's 50 million people. More to the point, they have a partnership with WeChat. So if you go onto your WeChat, I mean, my WeChat is connected to my LinkedIn profile, and my LinkedIn is connected to my WeChat. So there's a button that says connect your LinkedIn. So basically they're working together, and under Microsoft, even though Microsoft is banned in China, ironically, they're doing a partnership with WeChat and Microsoft and LinkedIn. So that's just going to grow and grow and grow. I mean, there's the third biggest country behind India and America. It'll be, I predict that India and China will be the number one, number two in 5 years' time. Because they're still growing, whereas America's saturated, completely saturated.
China. So if you're marketing regionally, somebody had suggested that I put content in Chinese. I speak pretty poor Mandarin and don't write any of it. So I had it all translated, and it turns out it's even more popular than any of my English content.
There you go.
Yeah, God knows what it says. But, and it seems to have a lot of engagement, at which point I'm desperately trying to Google Translate to respond to all these comments. And I'm just wondering, is that something you recommend? Should you consider Chinese language?
Definitely. Is your profile also in Mandarin and Cantonese?
No.
Okay, so I would recommend putting your profile also in Mandarin and also in Cantonese, bearing in mind where you are. So you can actually have profiles in every single language you want. You have to rewrite them, but you basically get one of your Mandarin speakers, for example, one of your friends, to actually write it for you based on your current one. And I would recommend, we have a client in Germany, for example, and he wants us to do half the posts in German to attract the German audience and half the posts in English to attract the European audience. So that's quite common. We have Indonesian clients, Malaysian clients, one Bahasa. So it's very, very common.
You do the same posts and repost them in each language.
You repost it, or you do double. Basically, you'll see posts which are Mandarin and English in the same post, or it could be different posts. They might think one post is applicable for China, so they do it in Mandarin, one post is applicable for, say, Hong Kong, do it in English. So yeah, no, it's very common. But I would suggest change your profile. You get that much engagement, that's fantastic, but change your profile to Mandarin and to Cantonese, so do 2 extra profiles.
Can I ask, are they 2 different persons in case you do that?
No. It's the same profile. Same profile, same connections. It's just basically all she needs to do is put the profile into a different language.
I just wear a cheap pow in one and then
how personal do you want to get with the postings? Not in the sense of posting drunken nights out, but
if you can find a positive and a business angle, then yes, definitely. You could talk about leadership, you could talk about overcoming obstacles, you could talk about recovery, you could talk about how you've overcome both society and cultural and health issues to become a leader again. It's a very inspiring story. So I personally love to hear that story, and you can do a video about it as well. You could do 5 posts about how I recovered, what my story was, how I approached work as a result of it. Because many people began to do the same thing. Many people on LinkedIn will have an illness and not be able to work and have to do something. So actually it's a very applicable, very empathetic story. So I'd say share it. Just the caveat always is it business? Is there a business angle? Otherwise you start getting into pure Facebook territory. I always say don't post things on LinkedIn to do with babies, deaths and illness unless you're in the business of babies, deaths and illness, in which case post as many as you want. But it's all about the context. Make it contextual to business. But yeah, definitely go for it. I'm out of books, unfortunately. You have to buy it on Kindle. It's 8.99 cents or something ridiculous like that. There's another question over here. No, we're out of questions over here. Any questions over here?
How often will people run into privacy problems like a year from now, people would point to your post and say, you said that at that time, so I'm going to sue you.
I haven't come across that, to be honest, on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's professional. So people do tend to think twice before posting something or commenting, because they know that they're posting it based on their own personal brand and their company brand, and also the people they know. So you don't tend to get trolled, for example, like you do on Facebook and Twitter, or some anonymous social media platforms, also anonymous marketing platforms, because people can see who you are. So it's actually a more responsible debating platform. So people don't tend to do things like that. I haven't heard of anybody being sued as a result of posting things on LinkedIn. As regards to privacy, it's a good question, because the Facebook had the problem when it comes to privacy. LinkedIn had a phenomenal amount of opt-ins and opt-outs. So whenever somebody occasionally mails me and says, please take me off your list, and I say, you're not on a list. You're on LinkedIn, and here's how you can change your settings. You can basically opt out of being mailed. You can opt out of being seen. You can opt out of having invitations. You can opt out of people seeing you. You can opt out of people seeing your profile who sees you. Basically, you can be completely anonymous on LinkedIn. I don't see the point, but you can be completely anonymous if you really want to. The point is that you have the power of data protection on LinkedIn, so they don't have the Facebook problem. Because ultimately the users are saying yes or no. So I say you can mail me as much as you want, I say I'm open profile, but other people say no, you need an email address. Some people have their pictures hidden unless you're a first connection. So you are in control. It's like 25 different caveats, even the new one about Microsoft. So Microsoft Word, there's now an opt-in on LinkedIn that basically says, do you want to appear in Microsoft Word documents? So when someone writes your name, your LinkedIn profile actually comes up. So people may not want that. I'm quite happy to have that, but other people may not want that. So now you can turn that off on LinkedIn. So really LinkedIn have gone through the whole, they're very GDPR PR proof, to then make sure that you have total data protection. You have the power to control the data on LinkedIn, which I think is absolutely crucial.